My name is Jessica Greer, and I'm going to be going through the characteristics of cults. This is something that fascinates me personally. It was always taboo to talk about it when I was little. It was something that you needed to stay away from because it wasn't what people were supposed to believe in. Something that has always interested me with this is the fact that these people have always believed something different than me, yet claim to believe the same thing. But it's not always the same thing once you actually learn what it is that they believe. There are different shows now, especially now, that talk about cults and they do interviews. Media has been keeping cults in the spotlight lately, and there is always something new to learn. The things that us as Christians learn are not only how different we are from them, but sometimes is that they believe that they are following the same practices that we practice, and it's not true. Their cult leaders have gotten so far into brainwashing that these members think that this is what they're doing, that they are receiving God's word when it's really not. Culture is shaping how people view the world. There are things that the culture is changing to fit into an agenda for people by the people. This is not a new thing either. People have been changing culture based on sex and religion and the workforce and what they're doing in music and movies, and we see this culture bring cults into the spotlight, and one of the main ways is entertainment. So you can see that some movies are called cult classics because they have a different type of following. So they have people that follow these movies and they put a lot of emphasis into it. And these are not movies that most people have not seen or heard of. They're movies that most people know something about, including myself. I do know some of these movies, and some of the examples are like The Breakfast Club or The Rocky Horror Picture Show and The Big Lebowski, things that people want to follow because they enjoyed it so much or their parents enjoyed it and they pass it on to other people. This is a difference between me and other people, is that I don't let these things rule my life and I don't shape my life based around these things. I project what I believe, and what I believe is that God created everything and he sent his son to save us. I don't believe that there is aliens and they are coming to destroy the world, or that there's this, Greek god or Roman god or Egyptian god out there that is actually coming to, pay tribute to anything that's going on. And these movies and entertainments and subcultures of what is going on based on these cult movies is not what I produce from my life. So it is different for me to watch those things or know something about them. There is a difference between those people who enjoy entertainment as cults and then people who actually follow other leaders as people who are more important than what they've been taught as little kids. Movies and entertainment areas are not the end-all be-all of the cult movement. Even if they are the most notable, there is a cult attitude regarding religion, and it's growing. Many people do not believe in God, and then they try to find their way through other religions. And this happens with the New Age movement. These people try to take different aspects of all types of religion and mesh them into one thing and say that this is what they believe. Some people believe that they're drawn to these cults because they have a little bit of Buddhism mixed with Christianity, and it's all about peace and harmony in nature, and it's not. It's about following somebody because you are looking for peace that you're not getting somewhere else. And then society looks at these people a little bit differently. Some people believe that others are drawn to cults because they have a mental illness. However, people who participate in cults score about normal range for mental illness. So this means that society and people who don't agree, or people who fail to try to understand how other people feel, are not actually understanding anything that's going on. The New Age belief is the most notable, like I said. This is the idea of living with a new religion background. They are the New Agers, and they always sometimes believe in a higher power, but that doesn't necessarily mean God. And the people that work hard and make their own differences will make their own differences. New Agers also decide that the best way to live their lives is to mix, like I said. They mix different religions together. People in cults also do not have more of an attachment to their children or partners, and so this is another mental illness thing that people believe that New Agers have, that they are trying to trap their children or someone else, and that's just not true. They love people just as much as the average person. Although this is true, there is a need in some people to have more of a structure in their lives, which is where that mental illness tagline probably comes from. These structures come with more rules and regulations on their day-to-day activities. It is important to remember, though, that Christianity has rules and regulations too that you are supposed to abide by. We live by the Bible, and these people need more than that, which is why they're drawn to a stronger structure settlement. People who decide that they want to join a cult see something they are missing in that cult. The sad thing is, though, is that people who are vulnerable are more likely to become part of a cult because they have someone telling them, I can make it better, I can make it better, I can make it better for you. They are missing something, and the leader sees that, and then they attach themselves to those people and say, I'm going to do this for you. So those people end up saying, okay, well, this is what I need then. It is important to know that this does not happen only in America. This takes place all over the world. This is because the social structure is all over. Social structure has to do with how vulnerable people are, because they can find where cults will fit into their lives. There are people who fit in the prey-predator relationship all across the world. Cults are an extreme form of religion, and it is known that religions have a code, like I said, a code and conduct that is expected. Cults seem to take this to the extreme and come up with something completely different. People who leave cults after a while have a hard time getting to that point. It is like an addiction for them. It is something that they cannot just drop and leave behind. They have the cult in every aspect of their life. It is family, work, financial, their personal lives are taken over by this cult, and that's because they are vulnerable and they are reaching that stage of not being able to handle those things anymore. These people have spent a lot of time being devoted to the cult, therefore it is difficult because their lives have been revolving around these groups of people, and they don't know how to break that. A good thing is that some of these people decide they want out, but the bad thing is that it's not always easy. They can get out. There are steps to get out. There are people to help them. It is just getting to that point of realization. New Age is the cult that gives false hope to those in need of something spiritual. There are things that society should stop doing, and part of that is not bringing up mental illness as a reason for these things. One thing is that people should not assume that all cult members have that mental disorder. They are people who score average, and that's something to remember, and they are no more attached to people or the planet or anything else. These members are just that, members of a religion that is not very helpful. It is important to remember that cult members are looking for answers, and they believe that having multiple facets will bring them peace, and that goes back to all the different religions that they combine into one that they think is going to help them. This is not what's going on. They are having a false sense of security, and it is important to help them, especially when they need help. So knowing that these people are being brainwashed because they're vulnerable, and the New Age stuff is nothing new. It's just attacking a new generation of people, means that we know how to face it head on, and we know that there are things that can be done to help and counter it. It's just Christians need to be active in showing other people that there are multiple different practices for different religions are not always going to help them.